Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is me, Dukect here, live, once again on TalkShoe.com. Thank you so much for joining me here on this Thursday evening, where the Wizards looking like they might close, or not, who knows. But anyway, let us get into the madness. Let us get into the madness that is the world of pro wrestling. And we're going to talk a little bit about WWE and the lack of character. The lack of character has been a problem for the WWE for a long while. And this lack of character, and I've talked about this before, I talked to this with many other guests, and I will continue to talk about this, to such a problem in the future. But right here, I mean, it just looks at like the previous Monday Night Raw. I mean, do you see a cast of characters that are so lost and adrift at sea that no one really cares for? You have a main event of people who have really, and the people involved in the Raw main event that are completely just not really focused and have no character. You have Finn Balor for one. I know people love him, the smarts love him, he's a great wrestler. And I'm like, fine, he has... he can have good matches, but at the end of the day, he has no real connection to the crowd other than, he does his little arm thing and wears face paint every other pay-per-view. I just don't care about him. I want to care about Finn Balor, but over time, I just don't. I want something, a reason to care for him, and I can't. And then he's being teamed up with Bray Wyatt, one of the most, honestly, who would have thought so many years ago, back in 2014, when he just beat Daniel Bryan in a very good match at the Royal Rumble, that he was going to be something like to be in this position. I honestly think at this point, he would have told me that, I would have said, man, that's crazy. I honestly think Wyatt should have won at WrestleMania. If Wyatt would have won at WrestleMania and gone on, became a champion, and then just became this crazy figure and everything, it would have been great. But now he's a former WWE champion. I don't give a crap about him. I don't. And I hate that. I do. Because I do believe that Bray Wyatt is one of the best and could have been one of the best wrestlers, characters the WWE had since, honestly, in a long, long time. Could have been that next supernatural character and such. But instead, he's just there. He's just there doing the spooky images, doing nothing, saying things that amount to nothing. And you know what? It reminds me of, every time Wyatt speaks, it reminds me of a Shakespeare quote. I think it was from Hamlet, I believe. It is, every time he speaks and tells the stories, it reminds me of the quote. It says, now I'm paraphrasing, "This tale is told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." I know I'm paraphrasing quote, but that's every time I see Wyatt. A fool speaking with all this reverence. It is a tale told by a fool that all his little mysticism, all of his smokes and mirrors and everything else, all sound and fury ends up being nothing. Signify nothing. That's Bray Wyatt in a nutshell. And especially when you had that idiotic House of Horrors match, one of the worst matches I've seen this year. I'll say it, this is probably one of the worst matches in WWE in 2017. Yes, I'm going that far. It is that terrible. And you know what? And you have him on the roster. Why don't they could just call Matt Hardy up and say, hey, this is how you do it. You, instead of listening to this, that's play it up. You have Matt Hardy on the roster. You knew he was going to do something like this. Why don't you say, hey, you know what? We're going to send down to Louisiana. We're going to do some stuff here. Why don't we just, do that same stuff, get that goofy music playing, all that type of stuff, tied into the Broken Universe. It'd be very interesting. Instead, we get this pseudo trying to be scary, trying to be like the newfangled horror stories, which in the end mean nothing. All these things mean nothing because it's not scary. It's not terrifying. It doesn't click with Wyatt or anything else. And actually, here's the real crazy thing. The best type of horror is personal. What in this entire House of Horrors connects to Randy Orton in any way? Why couldn't it be something that connects to him? Have a personal connection that says, his greatest feats are greatest failures. That sort of thing. That would have been a horrible thing for Bray Wyatt to really mess with Randy Orton's head. And there's things you can point out to. You can say a failed partnership like with Rated RKO, or his whole war with Triple H or something like that. Bring that thing to the forefront. That right there would be something interesting. Instead, what do we get? What do we get instead, ladies and gentlemen? We just get baby dolls and everything else. Oh, we got Jeff Sanchez 30. What's up? Hope you're liking the show. But I think you would agree with me, by the way, about this, because goodness gracious, the Bray Wyatt stuff was terrible. Yes, it was. But yeah, it's this horrible and terrible, this lack of characters. I want to really care about these people. I want to care about them. I want to care about this character. I want to care about these guys and gals and everything. But at the end of the day, there's nothing. Oh, hello. Hello, Jeff Sanchez. How you doing? Yes. And also, remember, the chat room's on lock. If you want to tell me and talk about these things, put it right on the chat, and I will put it up, and I will listen and talk, and I have all type of stuff. So, anyway. But yeah, it is something that these people have to really start caring for. People want to like these people, like to get involved in the other characters, see how they grow and what they can do. This is, again, a TV show and such. Remember, they say, we like to make movies and such with the wrestling. And right now, it's not really about making movies, because it's a crappy films. These are things that don't really connect to the people. It don't really connect to these to the audience. And one thing I look at, one thing I really didn't like this past week, and even worse, we used to have Jinder Mahal, who, I think I like some of the stuff Jinder Mahal can do, but at the end of the day, it's it's just like, you need something other than him just saying he's the Macho Ali or whatever. Really connect. There is something there, him carrying the WWE title, which he doesn't have this week on SmackDown for whatever reason. That right there shows me that there's no real, again, little to no continuity, and that's really is something I worry about. All right. What else? Another thing that really bothered me is not just that, but another thing that bothered me on the thing is again, they're trying to push Finn Balor and Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, no, I don't want Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar, because again, that will be a terrible match, because you want to have believability. You want to have believability and actual type of credence. What is Finn Balor has done to basically say to go toe-to-toe to this big monster that is Brock Lesnar? What is his credibility? He doesn't have that. He's the first Universal Champion. Big whoop. And he got injured after it. And people say, well, little guy. Yeah. Daniel Bryan had won the U.S. Championship in a continental. He built himself up to be a worthy contender over time, and there was a good story behind it when he faced against 3/4 of Evolution. What is Finn Balor's main story against the Beast? What is his proving ground? 1 Universal, 3 matches on Raw, and 1 Universal Championship run that ended via by injury by Seth Rollins, who, let's honestly, which honestly, the last time Seth Rollins faced Brock Lesnar, he was completely and utterly decimated. So, why should anyone, and I do mean anyone, just try to, to care? Why should anyone truly care about this situation? Because this is the reason why most people don't, follow or watch wrestling anymore. I mean, again, the lack of stories, the lack of character development. And when these character developments don't happen, people are just going to say, why should I care about who this guy comes in and fights this guy? Not because just great wrestling. Great wrestling can, the one thing that brings people in the seats and keeps them there is a story. What's the story of Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar? And quite honestly, there has to be believability. Why should anyone who's like, okay, this dude wrestled a face paint. He's inside the mind of Brock Lesnar. Keep in mind, Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker, the king of mind games. Yeah, well, it's Skype stuff. Hold on. Yeah, so what is that? What is that whole situation? I just don't get that. I just don't get the fact this will be at that's my hope. That's my I hope is actually they do correct the story. But right now there seems to be no story, nothing connecting these people to why I should care about Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar match. The best match I honestly wish at WrestleMania should be Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. And heck, you know what? If you want to do something interesting, you want to have Roman Reigns turn heel, fine. When everyone was telling you deserve when he got bloodied and everything, have him after he destroys Strowman, he goes off a tangent. Be like The Rock saying, okay then, you want me to do that monster? Okay, he goes after Finn Balor. And that's your feud. Bam. Finn Balor and he just completely annihilates him. He annihilates Finn Balor takes him out or whatever. I know Finn Balor just came back, have him beat him up. And then when they had their matchup, whatever, he does his whole demon everything, and he beats him. I mean, annihilates Finn Balor. Beats him down so bad, so horribly that he takes, at the end of the match, after he beats him, he's like, yeah, and now that, spits on like a towel or something, wipes off the face and reveals him like he's just a man, he's nothing, he's a complete loser or something. Completely annihilates Finn Balor. Then, have him basically, you build, then after that, Roman comes right back saying, yeah, I destroyed your boy Finn Balor, and I'm going to take out Seth Rollins, I'm going to take out all this stuff. Or heck, you build him up as he takes down the Shield or something like that. He takes down Dean Ambrose first. He takes down Seth Rollins, and then he takes down all these other guys. Takes down Finn Balor. Finn Balor comes back at the Royal Rumble or something like that. When you have him as champion and such, Finn Balor goes at Finn Balor, wins the Royal Rumble because it's shot against, like, say, the champion. And it could be Strowman, it could be Lesnar, or Roman. I think it would be more interesting to have a Roman Reigns versus Lesnar type of Roman Reigns, Lesnar, and then Finn Balor there as a triple threat then. But that muddles the story up. So the best way to clear this up, I think it would be, if they really were smart, Strowman versus Lesnar, and Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor for the Universal title. You have, hopefully by then, people will have a reason to cheer. You get that big WrestleMania appearance, and you make it a no DQ match, a true no DQ match at WrestleMania. They go on town. It is pure 100% violence. And hopefully Finn's body can take it, though, and there's no disqualification match. And he does pick up the victory or whatever, that sort of thing. You can turn Roman later on in the year or something later on, when the Authority comes back, because when the Authority does come back, they're beating down everybody. Roman at first is like, I don't care, and anything else, and, you play that story, and then, you build up, and then you hear, and then you see which side is he on. He looks like he's going to take down Finn, and then he spears Triple H or whatever. And, it's like, so then bam, you have a face turn. I think that will probably help a lot of people. That will make a lot of people happy. But that's just my personal opinion, and I could be wrong. But I want to hear what y'all have to say. And we'll take a small little break here. And when we return, we're going to be getting into a story that just came through the video game story about Bethesda and their newest game and a bit of copyright. We're right back after this, and we're going to be listening to the music of some OC remix. And what type of music are we going to listen to, my friends? Let's see, some Super Mario RPG Windows to the Stars. We're going to listen to a Yoster's Sunset, Welcome to Yoster Island by Amphibious, here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for listening to me, Duke CT, on TalkShoe.com. We'll be right back right after this. Back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you so much for listening here live on the TalkShoe.com. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, if you want to call into the show, remember there is a number you can dial. It's 724-444-7444. Once again, the number is 724-444-7444. And the call ID to connect to me, Duke CT, is 92417. Once again, the number is 92417. Now, copyright. How fun is copyright? Let's see. Well, let's talk a little about it. Because, there are sometimes people say it protects the artist. It protects everyone, but it protects the artists, the IPs. It's for the little guys, they say. But time again and again has proven otherwise, as supposedly, because Bethesda has to protect their supposed trademark law, because that always seems to work, right? Well, let's see, because supposedly, according to Niche Gamer, by right here, a link will be in the description, Bethesda stops an indie studio from using Prey in Prey for the Gods. Wow. And right here they say, they commented the thing via IGN. It says, quote, they didn't have much of a choice. It says, if we didn't oppose the mark, we risk losing our Prey trademark. Yes, Prey is a trademark. That's how bad it is with copyright, ladies and gentlemen. It is so terrible that if you actually you have to praying if you can't use it as a part of a game. That to me is amazing. That is amazing. And sorry about the sounds here. I'm going to take this thing off. I should stop that. There it is. Yes. It's how interesting about this is that trademark law supposedly is supposed to help the IPs, but in the end, it basically gets a stranglehold for these bigger companies. These big companies that Bethesda basically said, yes, they have they stopped an indie developer, a Kickstarted game, back in 2000 called Pray for the Gods. They were game, and this was back in 2005. It's a Kickstarter release game, and it looks pretty interesting. And it looks something, something like that. Could be something interesting. It looks like something of a hero trying to just, that sort of thing. A single player, big type of adventure survival type of game. Something that looks interesting, and something I might actually play. It's a Kickstarter game, so it could be interesting. But the game's name has to be changed, and here it is. And the reason why they have to change it is because, like I said, Bethesda and their parent company ZeniMax, that use words for their IPs, and that's, to me, and this is not new for them. And supposedly, including their Mojang's Scrolls game, Bethesda claimed it was too simple. They have Scrolls, Scrolls was claimed to be too similar to the Elder Scrolls. Seriously, this type of pedantic crap is what is, this pedantic crap is supposedly, it's kind of funny how this whole, people say trademarks and copyright needs to exist, and all these type of things, and yet all I see is these people, these supposed businesses that take words and names and such, trademark them, and then just push anyone out there. They push small developers that can't defend themselves, that can't even come near to the money and law, like the money and the entire type of like BS that they would have to put to just to get the rights to the name. By the way, they had to change the name to Pray to Gods to Pray to the Gods, because it's, trademark for Pray for Bethesda, which, by the way, since this little BS happened, I am not going to buy Pray at all. I'm not going to give them one penny, because this stuff right here, there needs to be, in fact, I'm not even going to buy any more Bethesda games. Period. End of discussion. I'm not going to buy any Bethesda games. I will not buy them because, again, they think they are so this type of BS of using trademark law and copyrights to basically strangle, to basically just push ahead, push down the little guys. And I think, and part of me is like, well, they have to. They have no other option. They have no other choice. No, they don't. Yeah, they do. Let them use their name. It's not going to damage their IP. It's not going to damage their brand. Prey's going to make millions and millions of dollars with Bethesda, because, again, Bethesda has that type of what's the word? Oh yeah, they have that type of clout. They have that tenure. They have that type of thing for people to actually sit there and actually people care. They have been depend upon these games over and over again. This is why people respect and like these type of like Bethesda, but they don't. They don't care. But then it comes right here that they don't really care about that. They don't care about the these little guys using trademark law just to just protect their copyright, which at the end of the day, prayer, all these type of words, just for that, just to say, oh, we're trying to protect our copyright, which is BS. It's always been BS, and it always will be BS, and that's how trademark law works. Because and here's even better. Bethesda added that multiple attempts were made to contact Nomada Studios as early as 2005. Yeah, even before, don't use Prey because of that. I'm like, seriously, it's not even close to or even near to what your title is. It's like, I'm sorry, it's still idiotic. It's still it is still it still shows me how really pathetic that Bethesda is, just trying to claim a copyright to a name Just because they're using one word of your title. Pray. Or someone using scrolls to connect to the Elder Scrolls. Because that pedantic stuff, people are not going to care about that. People are not going to say, oh my gosh, it's related to the game, your game? No, it isn't. I mean, pray to the gods is nothing connect to your pray. All right, Bethesda? And I think most people will be smart enough to realize that. Stuff like this, man, really shows how bad the United States trademark and copyright law is. And once again, I want someone to tell me why trademark law and copyright law needs to exist. Because every time I do these type of stories, when I look at these type of stories, it seems to me the big guys are the one who use them, to protect their IPs or the IPs that they are, that they have, and not for the original owners, the true ones, the artists and the creators, long since priced out. But hey, you know what? I'm not gonna buy any Bethesda game. I don't care how much money I could. Doom, I would love to play it, and I have a PC that can play it. I'm not gonna pay for it at all, because stuff like this, there needs to be consequences. And I know I am a small voice, and I know I am a small voice in a huge, a small voice in a not really big vacuum. And because of podcasts, and I guarantee there are people who are bigger than me to make this thing up. But instead of doing this, Bethesda, and your local guys too, and I wish they would listen to this, why not go after trademark law itself? Why don't just say, you know what? This is crap. Why don't we do something about it? Use their money and resources to actually fix this law. Or fix the whole copyright trademark BS. Instead of just saying, well, it's what it is. It is what it is. We can't do anything about it. Oh, poor us. We're just a small indie, we're just a small, poor little AAA game producers and such. We can't do anything. Oh, we're so poor. Give me a goddamn break. Seriously. But hey, you know what? I'm not buying any more Bethesda games. Full stop. And I know hopefully that maybe if y'all want to do something, talk about this, continue the conversation, go right ahead. But I will not buy another Bethesda game. Period. End of discussion. Because that type of stuff, is stupid. So, yeah. Yeah, so at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this is and here it is. That's how bad it is, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, when you read it, is that even if they could fight it, the people who are trying to do anything else, this the supposedly reason why they have to do it is because, again, it would cost so much money that would say trademark law is anything else. So they could have fought this, and again, they could have spent more money in Kickstarter funds to try to fight this lawsuit and then damage the game, and even still would have probably spent like a huge chunk, and then they just have no other option, and it's crappy. And this is why, again, this is why most people, this is why, I look at trademark law and see what it is, and copyright law. It's like, you know what? It doesn't protect the little guy. And there's proof right here. It doesn't. Until said otherwise, we need to get rid of the law entirely. Or remake them to make sure it does protect the smaller interest. The smaller interest and the smaller people who make these ideas, not the big corporations that can just squash people and do these type of things. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. The Dukect Lounge will be coming back live next week, as usual. And don't worry, the WrestleMania review is coming finals is going to be this week. So after finals week, I will probably finish up the script. I'm going to start on the script tonight. I did some pretty good stuff on the script tonight. We'll probably get some match or two. But yeah, I'm going to be studying mostly for the finals. And then when I finish the finals, it's going to be the script. And we're going to do some really cool stuff for the WrestleMania 33. Lots of interesting stuff coming down the pike. And the stuff coming down later. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. It's Dukect here. Peace and love. I'll see y'all when I see y'all later.